used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.
What up? Welcome back once again to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones. And in this one, let's go ahead and add one more figure to my McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. Now today I randomly went into a Target and I did run into some figures from the Three Jokers wave, which were 1 Criminal Joker and 2 Batgirls. So I did swipe them up. So I considered myself pretty lucky to come across this guy. Now of course he is one of 3 Jokers coming out in this wave. I already did review the Comedian. This is the Criminal, and then I'll be missing the Clown. He is part of the 3 Joker storyline. Basically in the comics, it has something to do with after the Darkseid War, Batman takes a seat on the Mobius chair, and to test it out, he asks who killed his parents, and the Mobius chair does answer him that it is Joe Chill, which is true. And then he asked who is the true identity of the Joker, and surprisingly the Mobius chair answered him that there are 3 men that are the Joker. So that blew his mind. So he stated that he would have to look into it, investigate it later on, which was pretty cool because then we did go into the 3 Joker storyline. So pretty intense. Now this guy looks pretty diabolical in his packaging, but let's go ahead and take a look at him. But first, he does come with your standard black DC Multiverse stand. Now it is not needed, but sometimes they are useful. He also comes with a data file card on the front. You do have some pretty nice figure photography there. And on the back, you do have some information. Pretty cool. Let's add that to the collection. Now he does come with one accessory, which is this cane. Now what I'm really digging about this cane is the flat matte black that they actually added to the shaft of it. This is what I mean when I say matte. It's like not shiny. It's more of like a just paint, like a dull paint, which always gives me the vibe of like when they prototype figures and they paint them, they do it by hand, and that like look of figure is completely different to when they actually go ahead and make it into plastic, because those are usually made of clay or like other materials. But it is pretty cool. It does have some sculpt work in the head, and then at the very top it does have a J for Mr. J. So pretty nice accessory there. Now let's go ahead and take a look at him. Now just first impressions, just looking at him. Now this is based on the Golden Age Joker, which means if you didn't know, Joker was actually the first criminal in Batman #1. When Batman got his first run at a comic book, Joker was the first villain, which is, awesome because he came out to be like his arch nemesis. He is pretty much his arch nemesis. Now in this run, this old school run of comics, the Joker is a little bit different. He's more like a criminal mastermind. I don't really imagine him with like being violent and stuff. Like physically, he's more like a mental, like a psychological criminal. But as he progressed in the comics, that's where he got like crazier and crazier to the way we know him now, where he's just chaos. You never know what he'll do. He's just completely insane. But at this point, he was barely starting off, and he just had a different tone to him. Even though he was like evil and sinister looking, of course this is the very inception of his character. But this looks pretty good. Now they do give him that purple classic look. The head sculpt is pretty nice. Let's go ahead and look at it. Now, one thing I did not notice before is that you know how McFarlane's making figures like with their eyes, looking to the left. Well, his eyes actually look to the right, and you got to get really in there. Let me put some light on him, and you'll see his pupils are like a little bit pointed to the right. They're not straight on, which doesn't really affect him because he has so much dark paint around his eyes that you can't really see it unless you like really really look close. So if you were to just pose him, you wouldn't be able to tell. But it's a really nice head sculpt for what it is, even though he doesn't have his signature grin. It is a really nice head sculpt with like a different hair. It has more of a hairstyle like in the Arkham Asylum games where he has like that peak, which I think is more traditional like to the old school Joker. But it's really nice. Now he can look up. Well, he can look down pretty good. You do have left to right, and then you can tilt his head for some character. Pretty creepy. Moving down, he just has that typical suit jacket. This one has a little bit more feel of like a leisure jacket, and it is done in like a higher gloss paint, so it has like a really gloss, plastic look to it. It's okay. Now his waist does swivel even with the jacket on, and then you can rock him, spin him around, bend him forward, bend him back. Pretty nice articulation. Let's look at the arm. He does have a butterfly shoulder joint. You can move his arm up, but it kind of stops here, like right above 90 degrees. I wouldn't want to push it. Just be careful with that. Then he does have a bicep cut at the suit. And then double jointed elbows. Moving into the cuff of his suit and then to the gloved hands. Of course, he does have wrist articulation. And on the right hand, he has kind of a pistol grip hand there, or gripping hand. Let's take a look at his thigh swivel. Surprisingly, a lot of thigh swivel there. Have a lot of movement. For all the freaks out there, I don't know why, but he can pretty much do the splits, but I don't know why you would want him to. And then he can cock out his leg and do that double jointed knees, straighten it out. His ankle articulation is up and down, left to right. He does have ankle rocker. Surprisingly, he does have toe articulation. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that on the knees and the elbows, the plastic is like different. It's a different shade of purple. It's a more lighter shade than the actual suit and the pants. So it actually, to where you could really tell that the knees and even the pins are like a little bit off color. I mean, posing them on the shelf and standing away from them, you probably can't tell, but I'm not sure if I could make up a mixture of paint and then see if I could, match it a little bit better. And then maybe even add a little bit of glossy paint because the knees are a little bit more flat than the actual pant legs. So we'll see what we could do. But all in all, looks all right. Take a look at the bottom. Not any tread, but more like shoe soles there. No identifying marks. Moving up the back, like I said before, you could see the difference in the plastic for the hinges. And then moving up, more sculpt work on that jacket. See the back of the hair there. all in all, really nice figure. He just doesn't seem to me like a gun, like a gun holding figure. I mean, it just his like aura doesn't shout out guns to me. But if I were to add a gun to him, it would probably be more like this classic, you know, 45 looking gun, not a revolver, and not anything new. It would be more old school. It does fit him pretty good. Not too bad. You can also add his cane, but this is more like you set it up and then put the hand over it. There you go. Pretty interesting. Now let's go ahead and bring in the Comedian Joker, just to take a look at the differences or the same use of parts. I really love this figure. He's awesome. This one, not too sold. I mean, he's okay for what he is. He will be going into the collection, but I really like the Comedian Joker just as like a shelf presence. He's really awesome. This one, he's okay. He doesn't have, like I said before, he has a different demeanor. Like his face just makes him look real like dour, you know. While this is classic Joker with that big, you know, shiz-eating grin on his face. But let's take a look at him. Of course, the head sculpts are completely different. But the undershirt that's underneath the coat and the jacket are exactly the same mold. And then that goes down into the pants that are exactly the same mold. And the shoes are the same. And even the gloves on the hands are the same. So basically the only different things on here are the jackets and the head sculpt. Everything else is reuse. But interestingly enough, each figure gives off a different, you know, feeling, a different sentiment. This guy looks more sinister and psychotic, and this guy looks just more like pondering and scheming. That's just the feeling I get from them. But all in all, happy to add them to the collection. I do think what I might have to do is I have a space up here on top of maybe about this wide, and I'm going to have to add another shelf and just put the Three Jokers wave on that, in that space, because where I have my main figures, it's really starting to get low on space. So I might end up doing that just to give the Three Jokers wave like their own little, you know, area, because we are missing the Batman, the Red Hood, the other Joker, the Clown, and then I still got to review the Batgirl and get her up there. So I just might do that. Go ahead and add their own little shelf for them. But you guys keep hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.